listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey B, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It's me, it's Chris Meaney, and it's Friday, and there's a full slate of games. Oh, is there ever? We've got big-time pitchers. We got Colorado in play. We got huge stacks to look at, and Jason Vargas is on the mound. Oh, gosh, I'm so happy, Chris. I really am. It's going to be a glorious day of offense.
Yes, Jason Vargas is the cheapest pitcher on the board on DraftKings and FanDuel, considering Stanek for the Rays has not pitched more than 2 innings all season. And you know you're not going to get more than 2 innings from him, but yet he's $1,500 more than Jason Vargas. It just goes to show what Vargas is capable of.
Well, let's just say Vargas has become the Chris Davis of pitchers lately. Is that fair?
I think that's a fair assessment.
That is a fair assessment of him. And look, you've earned it, Jason Vargas. But look, we got a lot to get to today, a lot of approach, because what do we do with all these big pitchers? Plus, there's weather involved in a lot of these games. Baltimore's got some weather involved. Detroit's got some wind happening, which could really make some impact on that game. So really, there's just a ton to get into. So let's do a quick recap of yesterday. And look, some takeaways. Luke Weaver is pitching really well so far in the last couple starts. That's something to take note of. Christian Walker get another home run. Chris, when does it stop? Christian Walker is on fire.
Yeah, it may not stop. He's got a good average, too, to start the season. And, yeah, he's hitting home runs. I believe he's got 3 in his last 4. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. He's strong. We've been mentioning him, and, he's been decent value. But, yeah, in the middle of that Arizona lineup, it's an underrated lineup, too. It's picking on it early in the year, but it's got some hitters in there.
Coming together a little bit. Also, speaking of coming together a little bit, Eloy Jimenez went yard yesterday. He's starting to look better at the plate, too. He's got some good matchups potentially this weekend, too, against the Tigers. So we'll talk about him a little bit later on in the show. Randal Grichuk continues to just rake. Teoscar Hernandez, my guy, also looking good against Pineda. So a lot of offense there from the Jays. Homer Bailey, another good start from him. This one against the Yankees. Boy, those Yankees and those Red Sox, those lineups are really just, I don't know. Speaking of which, I just want to point out, our home run call the other day on Wednesday's show. We always have our home run call, who we think is going to go yard. Chris got the first day right. I got JD Martinez right the second day. You picked Tommy Pham, who didn't go yard Wednesday, but went yard Thursday. So I feel like you deserve like a quarter of a star, a half a star, or something.
I'll take it. Listen, when you call Tommy Pham every day, you're going to get it right once in a while. I mean, it's 3 straight days where they went up against a fly ball pitcher against the Orioles, and they hit a lot of home runs really this week. I mean, it was Garcia again.
So we're batting like 500 on calling our shot.
We're doing okay. That's a pretty good average. Yeah, we'll take that. And we also said Seattle maybe would wake up with a matchup against the Angels. They scored 11. Yeah, because they had lost, I think, 6 in a row. They scored 4 fewer in 5 straight games. They ran into the Cleveland Arms, which will happen, of course. But, yeah, Seattle woke up in a big way yesterday. They scored 11 runs, and they got a weekend series against the Angels to probably continue to tack on.
And Julio Urias looked good last night as well. A strong performance from him, too. Again, the problem with him is how long can he pitch this year? How many innings? What's he got in the tank? So early on, it's something we can look at and continue to look. And, of course, if we just pick Christian Yelich every day, we'll probably be right about calling the shot. That's pretty easy, right?
Off the scoreboard. You should get extra points for that, man. Unbelievable stuff. But, yeah, Urias, I mean, 1 hit, 9K in Milwaukee through 6. That's a hell of a start.
And Tanner Roark was the upset, too, beating Chris Paddock over there. Joey Votto waking up a little bit, and Jesse Winker continuing to rise and shine as well. So the Red Bats starting to heat up a little bit. That's a good thing. And now it's on to Friday. It's a new day. Yes, it is. So let's get after it. And let's start. We have obviously got the 1 o'clock Cubs game. So boo, whatever, 2 o'clock, whatever. It's okay. Bye, Cubs. Yeah. Okay, next let's go to Jose Barrios against Alex Cobb. Now, this one's a little tricky because we got a 70% chance of rain in this one. It's going to be windy too. Rain, wind, all these things. Does not sound like a fun day to be out there with the feel for the ball. Barrios is expensive. He's 10.8 on the DK side. And I don't know, man. This feels like a trap to me. I know he's been so good. I just don't love what's going on here. You got the hitter-friendly environment. You got bad weather. You got a high price tag. I don't know. To me, there's a couple other big time, like Verlander's on this board today too. I don't know. I feel like Barrios is the trap, and I hate saying that because I love the guy so much, but I think I'm fading him today. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's just so tough with some of these weather games. Like the first 4 of the 5 we're going to talk about, there's a good chance of rain. So, I mean, if you only play a couple lineups, maybe you just kind of stay clear of situations like this. But if you play multiple lineups, I think it's a good opportunity maybe to jump on a guy like Barrios because maybe he'll get low owns. Like there is that opportunity. Yeah, I'd like him. He's not my favorite pitcher on the board. I have some exposure to him, but also on the other side, like Alex Cobb is a contact pitcher. He doesn't miss a lot of bats, and there's some contact. There are some guys in that Minnesota lineup who swing and miss, but there are also some contact hitters like Jorge Polanco has got like an 86% contact rate for his career. He's going to be near the top of the lineup. I like him. I know he's very expensive, but altogether, Joe, it's probably a game maybe you stay clear of. Like right now, we're talking to you guys early, but there's a 70% chance of precipitation, and it looks like the wind is blowing in.
And the wind, too. See, because of the wind, too, that's why looking at Polanco, Cruz, and Rosario, too, I'm going to put them in the mix, too. It's a risky play, but there's something to be said there, and I think Cruz and Rosario also have the opportunity to go yard in this one. Going also to, looks like a rain potential in that Pirates game too, Lyles versus Bumgarner. And look, Bumgarner's been terrific. We've been all over Bumgarner from the start of the season here on this show. So if you've been listening, we're a part of the fan club. But Jordan Lyles has pitched very well so far this year too. I think this is a lot closer game with two offenses that this could be one of those 2-1 games even if they get it in. And I don't know if it gets decided in the bullpen. So this one's another one to me where I'm just kind of, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thank you for coming in and interviewing today. But I think we're going to go a different direction.
Yeah, this one's got a higher chance of rain. It's at 84% now. 84% chance of precipitation. So.
The other one's got the wind too, though. That's what it's like. It's going to rain and wind, and it's like, what's going on?
Keep an eye on that wind. Like as of right now, I said it was blowing in at Camden. It looks like it's blowing out 18 miles an hour, according to Fantasy Labs, like blowing out to left. So I mean, you're right. There is a chance for some bombs potentially in Cruz and maybe Eddie Rosario. But this San Fran, it's too bad because I do like Bumgarner against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. You got Pittsburgh with a 3.8 team implied total. It's one of the lowest on the board. Again, it's another risky play. If you play multiple lineups, maybe you'll get somebody with a low ownership because people will shy away from these rainy games. But it's Joe, you know this. It's just so risky. Like if they get one inning in and all of a sudden it starts pouring, that could be it. That could be all you get from Bumgarner if there's a big delay. They typically don't like to throw their starter back out there with that much.
It also gets these guys off their rhythm, too. Like, even if they delay the start, if it starts coming around 6, 7 o'clock and they delay it by a couple hours, everything gets thrown off, the routine and stuff. I don't know. I don't like to mess around with those situations. And same could potentially be said, too, in New York. Sabathia against Jake Junis in this one. Look, the one thing I'm going to point out in this game is Hunter Dozier, who is reasonably priced both on FanDuel and on DK. He's a guy that's really been getting it done right now. A lot of questions I've been asked on Twitter about Hunter Dozier. And the minor league track record does not really support that he's going to sustain this. It really doesn't, especially from a batting average standpoint and a contact. However, that being said, we look at what happened with Whit Merrifield within that system where they made adjustments and all of a sudden he became a thing, and the minor league track record did not support Whit Merrifield doing what Whit Merrifield has done the last 2 years. So it's possible that this is more for real. The nice part about it on the daily side is you can take advantage when there is, and I think tonight is a night that I would, as a one-off, look to Hunter Dozier in that ballpark and take advantage of it against CC.
Yeah, I mean, why not CC for sure? I think he may be a better play down the road against righties. I know 15 of his 16 home runs have come against righties, but I mean, he's in the meat of that lineup and he's hitting bombs, and he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on it. And you're right about, the track record. You wonder if it's going to be able to carry over, but small sample size last year, he hit 11 home runs and, just under 400 plate appearances. So he's got some power. There's no question about that. And it's a great ballpark. Absolutely. The Yankees, again, just like yesterday, these guys are minus 200 favorites and they failed to produce. I'm not saying to jump on KC because I don't love Junis. Like he's a guy who gives up a lot of contact, hard contact and home runs. But the Yankees are very disappointing. I wouldn't be laying any juice on them at home as heavy favorites because
I'm with you.
They haven't
at the bottom of that order. Here you go. Ready? I take the juice every day. All right. DJ LeMahieu hitting 5th. Glenn Frazier hitting 6th. I know Frazier's been okay and LeMahieu's been fine. Mike Trockman Giovanni Urshela,
Sure.
and Kyle Higashioka. So
sure. Yeah.
Right. So there
right
you go.
on.
There's the,
I can't even take Jake Junis with that lineup. Like I just can't do it.
I know. Frustrating.
Yeah.
You want to do it and you just can't.
40% hard hit rate for his career, and he's given up like what feels like 32 home runs last year was top 5.
No, I think you were right the first time. I think he gave up 100 home runs. There you go. One place that weather's not going to be an issue is Tampa. The roof's going to be closed, and they're going to be facing the Red Sox, another lineup that's been struggling to say the least. It's nice to see JD with the bomb the other day, but this is Eduardo Rodriguez at 7.8 against Ryan Stanek. Just 5K. It's funny, the other day, too, if you listen to the show, the LineStar app and the show right here had Ji-Man Choi, and Ji-Man Choi had himself a G-Man day. Let me tell you something. So if you missed out on Wednesday's show and you don't believe us, go listen because we talked about him. And this is why we like to do a hybrid here. We talk about baseball, game theory stuff. We go into streaks. We talk about all these things, and then we dig into the app and we talk about some of the players at certain positions that really pop in terms of return on investment. And right now, Chris, that seems to be one of those things that it's working. It's working for people listening to the show, and it's working all the way around. So I know earlier before we started today, you were kind of trying to make a case for Eduardo Rodriguez. Are you going to keep trying to make the case, or do you think there's just too many other mid-tier options out there?
No, I think I'm in on him as maybe a contrarian play. Again, I mentioned the Red Sox. Anytime that they're road dogs, I'll jump all over this. I know I've been in on Tampa this week and their bats. We've talked a lot about Ji-Man Choi. We've talked a lot about Avisail Garcia, Tommy Pham, Yandy Diaz, even Brandon Lowe. Like these guys have gone up against some fly ball pitchers lately, but they typically, at least this season, they have struggled against left-handed pitchers. I mean, they're striking out 29% of the time against lefties. That's the 4th highest mark in baseball. They've had some success against righties. And for Eduardo, I mean, he had a decent showing last time out against, I know it was Baltimore, but he had 8 strikeouts, only allowed 3 hits. He has given up a home run in all 3 games, but I think there's an opportunity maybe for him to rack up a few Ks. And like I said, I think with Boston, you just have to give them the benefit of the doubt that one of these days they're going to turn it around and score some runs and give some run support. So I'm going to be on the Red Sox at plus 104, and I'm going to take some shots on Eduardo tonight.
Now, on the other side of that, I'm going to take some shots with Avisail Garcia, who looks to be potentially hitting cleanup in that lineup tonight, plus Tommy Pham. Again, those guys are 4.2 and 4.3 respectively. That's a pretty good return on investment in terms of value. All right, this next one's going to be the controversy, okay? Because the early look with Carlos Rodon, Jordan Zimmerman on here. I know Rodon's been really, really good, but all of a sudden the Tigers lineup is starting to heat up a little bit. All of a sudden Cabrera's looking good, Castellanos is looking good, and these are one of the things where I point out where you talk about the massive discount. We talk about the guys in the 2.7 range, the 2.5 range, the responsible guys that help you build a lineup. Miguel Cabrera is that guy tonight on the FanDuel side. He is. He's under 3K. He historically crushes lefties. I understand he hasn't had any power so far this year, but he's starting to look better at the plate, so maybe it's just a little bit of rust continue. I mean, the guy didn't play last year. Let's not forget. I understand he had spring training and all that, but he didn't play last year. It takes a little while to get the timing back, and I think he's starting to get it, and so is Castellanos. I think this is another trap game for Carlos Rodon tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I can get behind that. I noticed some of the bats heating up, like you mentioned. Miggy has a 2-for-4 day, and Nico Goodrum is somebody that I actually like. I think he's underrated. He's got some power and some speed to him. He's just young. He's got a lot of doubles so far this year. I think those will translate to home runs. And for Carlos Rodon, yeah, he's been really good. But, if you look at his track record and just, over the past couple of years, he struggles with walks. He's got a 3.83 walk per 9. Last year was over 4. And he's given up some home runs, right? 15 in 120 innings last season. In 2017, he only pitched 17 innings, Joe, and he gave up 12 bombs. And you go back to 2016, he gave up 24. So there's an opportunity maybe for some home runs in that lineup. And maybe underrated. Like, you're getting those guys under 4K. Well, those 3, 4, 5 hitters.
Yeah. And 4. On the FanDuel side, look, Heimer Candelario 2.4, Castellanos 2.7, Cabrera 2.7. So all of those with a match. And I'm not disrespecting Carlos Rodon at all. He's been terrific. But the weather early on had at least said that there was going to be some wind potentially in this game too, and some wind blowing out. And if that is the case as you get closer to game time, it's something to keep an eye on. And in a night where maybe cash game, you do want to go to the top of the board for Verlander, and that's how you want to play, you're going to need some of these guys in the lineup, especially on the FanDuel side, to make it work. So therefore, you got Colorado in play. You got Jason Vargas against St. Louis, which we're going to get to in a bit. you got to find some value somewhere, and I think that's your responsible value of the day. And Eloy on the other side of this game, and Wellington Castillo, those are two guys right now swinging hot bats both in the 3.8 and 3.3 range respectively that I can also get behind with Jordan Zimmermann in this game. This game could be surprising in terms of run total.
You see Jose Abreu's priced on FanDuel, he's 2.8. I mean, we talked about Miguel Cabrera at 2.7. I mean, those are 2-3 hitters in the game today. And for Zimmermann, yeah, he's been good, but he's a contact pitcher, and he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, and he struggles with home runs as well. So, I mean, I like this game as an underrated, maybe just stacking it, right? I mean, if it's from standalone point, Miggy and Jose, I think, are absolute steals on the FanDuel side.
I would agree. All right, now, look, let's be fair. I've picked on, and you might even call me a bully the last couple days against the Miami Marlins, and I've been right. We picked on him with you, Darvish, on the show. Then we picked on with Quintana. We doubled down, and then we let it ride with Hamels, and we tripled down with Cole Hamels. So
amazing
look,
week.
We had a good week there. Now, this is where I'm gonna pick up my chips, and I'm gonna leave the table, and I'm gonna go to the buffet. I'm gonna hit the buffet. I've heard they got all kinds of good stuff there, and I'm gonna spend some of my money there. And I'm maybe I'll go see a show. I don't know. Maybe hit the buffet, see a show. We'll see what happens. But Aníbal Sánchez in Washington coming into Miami in this one. I don't love this matchup. I look at the 8.1 salary, and I look at some other guys in that 8K range that I just think are far better investments tonight. Even though I like to pick up Miami, I think this is one time where I'm actually going to rest today. I'm going to take a break. It's been a good run. I'm going to once again Costanza and leave on a high note. Are you with me, or do you think that Aníbal is in play tonight? I say no. What says me?
Yeah, no, I can't get in on Aníbal, and it's been such a great week betting the Cubs and taking
really
their pitchers. It has. It's been amazing. I even told people, pick them by 2. It's going to double your odds, and they have been. They've been winning. They haven't been giving up any runs. It's good. So the only thing that I'm interested in on this side, and I know it's tough to really want to stack some bats in Miami, and Caleb Smith has some strikeout potential, but and even still looking at Washington's team implied total 3.9, I'm surprised. I think that'll rise up a little bit. They're pretty good against lefties, and they have been so far this season. In fact, the second best team in terms of WOBA, 401 WOBA against left-handed pitchers this year. Ryan Zimmerman, maybe an opportunity for him to break out. It's a small sample size, hitting 500 this year against lefties, but last year, a 380 average. He had 5 home runs against lefties. Juan Soto is really heating up. He's got a couple home runs this week. He had 7 bombs against lefties and a 280 average last year. So I think there's an opportunity maybe to get some guys. Rendon is amazing all the time, but those are the guys I think maybe Juan Soto or Ryan Zimmerman. I think there's
I love the Rendon and the Zimmerman call too, and the LineStar app loves Zimmerman tonight too. He's one of their favorite return on investment values over at first base. On a night where you could again stand to find some value, Zimmerman might be that guy. So great call there, and the LineStar app also supports that. So let's go through here. More weather. If you like weather, kids, I've got it tonight. 91% chance of rain.
Nice.
This one with Corey Kluber, the Klubes against Tuki Toussaint. So this is another one. Messy. Who knows how it's going to affect everything? The unknown. Some people look at it as an opportunity. This looks like a for sure where they could even get a cancellation at some point. And I'm just going to run away from it. I just am. Even though Cargo is a good value and there's some other guys on FanDuel you can make a case for, it just seems like this one's going to be a potential washout.
Yeah, absolutely. Over 90, like you said. So it's a pass. It's a pass for me. I really like to attack Atlanta when they're going against a lefty, but Kluber here is a righty. Kluber is very interesting. Got to keep an eye on him going forward. I mean, 10 walks, already 13 earned runs allowed in 19 innings.
Something is wrong.
Something is definitely wrong with him.
He had bad Aprils, but never this bad.
No, never this bad. And he was getting hit hard last year towards the end of the season, giving up some homers. This is typically not his thing to walk guys, put guys on base, and he's just getting in trouble with his command right now. But I just got to stay clear, Joe. And it's not like you're getting a discount on any of these bats, really. I mean, they're all pretty pricey.
All right, you're not going to get a discount on Justin Verlander either. He's 10.4 tonight, taking on Drew Smyly in Texas. Texas lineup struggling a little bit. They're projecting them at 3 runs tonight, and I think that's generous. So,
is it ever?
It is. And when you have a guy, a caliber of Verlander too, plus Altuve is another guy that's very much in play for me tonight. When there might be a lot of money going to Colorado in Philly, there might be some money going to Milwaukee, which we're going to get up to soon. I think sometimes when you look at it and you see guys like Bregman, Altuve, and Springer too, let's not forget those kind of stacks in a favorable ballpark, especially Altuve against lefties, who for his career just absolutely just obliterates left-handed pitching. So you're going to pay the premium, but I don't know. On a night like tonight, I think it might be worth it, Chris.
Yeah, this is my stack against Drew Smyly. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's giving up home runs left, right, and center. And you mentioned a lot of guys who have success against lefties. Top 5 team average and top 5 WOBA against lefties so far this season. You mentioned Bregman, you mentioned Altuve for sure. I like Correa to eventually get going here too. I mean, 286 average last year against lefties so far this year. Again, small sample size, but hitting 583 against them. And over on FanDuel, he checks in at 3.6. Like, he's just too cheap. Like Michael Brantley, 3.7, Carlos Correa, 3.6. It's just too cheap for a team that's projected to almost score 6 runs tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. All right, let's go to LA versus Milwaukee. You got Chacin against Stripling tonight. Look, Christian Yelich is red hot, but you got to pay through the nose, which is tough. Travis Shaw is Moustakas is now hitting cleanup in that lineup, and Travis Shaw been dropped down. I wonder, is this the opportunity to start taking some shots on Shaw, because you see Aguilar and Shaw basically drop down to the bottom of this order now. And I know it's only a matter of time. I don't know if I love it tonight for Aguilar, but for Shaw, I think there's opportunity there. I'm just going to put it that way. If you're playing multi-entry, especially on the FanDuel side, he's a little cheaper than on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time for some of these guys. It's been so bad. Maybe not Aguilar. I watched a couple of his at-bats yesterday. He looks completely lost at the plate, swinging at everything, even in the dirt. But him and Shaw, I mean, they check in at just such a reasonable price. And, again, this is another game. I mean, both teams are projected to score like 5 runs tonight, so there's going to be some runs. And for Stripling, I mean, 2.50 ERA at home last year, 3.44 on the road. 11 of his 18 home runs came on the road. Guys hit 2.70 on the road against him compared to 2.48. So it's an opportunity. I mean, Yelich is just so expensive. It's
well,
so
here you go. If you're gonna go all the way for Yelich, let's say you find a way to do it, right? Let's say you figured it out. You crack the code. Yelich or Bellinger tonight in this game? Because both of them are. I mean, look, you got a good ballpark. You got a good potential pitching matchup there. You got the lefty right. Everything is there for both these guys. The question is which one.
I'll go Yelich. I mean, it's save myself $100.
I guess that's the way to do it.
Unbelievable that somebody is more expensive.
Muncie's been a little hot too. I mean,
if
you want to kind of get a little piece there, I think maybe Muncie might be the way to go of this game.
Yeah, I would agree there. And yeah, even over on the FanDuel side, those guys are even cheaper, eh, Joe? Like Travis Shaw, 2.6, Aguilar, 2.7. Ryan Braun has struggled so far this season, but he's 2.8. There's an opportunity there for some value.
All right. Speaking of opportunity, Chris,
here
we go. We got to it. Jason Vargas on the road taking on Adam Wainwright, who I think Adam Wainwright is in play tonight. I really do. The Mets offense is very respectable. They really are. I know Cano hasn't played up to snuff, but Alonso has been very good. Conforto certainly could be better, but McNeil's been terrific so far. I did a comparison, by the way, of McNeil and Matt Carpenter, who are both in this game together this weekend, and their first 300 or so plate appearances. It is scary. 137 total bases for Matt Carpenter, 138 for Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo actually beats him in every slash category, but to me, a very similar profile hitter. And I think McNeil's going to add power later on like Carpenter did. But if you go back and look at early Matt Carpenter, basically the profile is McNeil. Maybe 10 home runs at the best in the first couple of years, but more of a batting average on base kind of guy. And then over time, the power came. And I look at that as a similar potential. So if you want to check that out, go find me on the Twitter. And I just tweeted that article out this morning. But look, in this one, give me Goldschmidt, give me DeYoung, give me Ozuna. That's my stack of the day. I don't care. Cover me in all the chalk. Take 2 erasers and just bang them over my head. I don't care. I want all the chalk of those guys against Vargas. I want the 3 righties in the middle of this order. And I want them against Vargas, because even if it's not against Vargas, it's going to be against Vargas for like an inning, maybe 2. And then after that, it's going to be a bullpen that's really been stressed out a lot lately. And it's only a matter of time. So I'm going that route.
It all makes sense. I don't have too much to add to that.
I mean, I can't. And that's the thing. It's like, well, I don't want to be the chalk person. Well,
you got to do it.
You want to be right.
Exactly. You got to do it. I mean, Vargas, 80% contact rate for his career so far this season. 90% is one of the top marks in baseball.
What's more effective, Jason Vargas or a batting tee?
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
because every now and then somebody hits off the tee and they're like, "Oh man, I topped that one."
Yeah, you topped it. Yeah, I popped it up a little bit or something.
I might take my chances with the batting tee.
50% fly ball rate so far, 64% hard hit rate, and a 90% contact rate. So he's not missing any bats. Paul DeJong hasn't missed many baseballs at all this year. Ozuna had a great weekend, or a great last series, hitting home runs. Yeah, absolutely. 1 through 4. I mean, there's even some value there if Jose Martinez gets in the lineup at 5, Yadier Molina in the 6th spot. Those guys checking out under 4 on DK, and over on the FanDuel side, I mean, they check in under 3. Like Jose Martinez is 2-2. And if he's going to hit in that 5 spot today, sign me up.
Yeah, and all signs would point to that potentially being the case. So
yeah,
look, it is what it is. Jason Vargas, the human batting tee. We have now given him a nickname right on the show. Vincent Velasquez travels to Colorado with the Phillies to take on German Marquez. Now, LineStar App does love Marquez. Now, if you go back and look at last year's numbers, him at home, still striking out guys, but it's still a Colorado pitcher. So that ERA was over 4 last year at home. I don't know, man. I understand it's Colorado. Everyone's super excited to get David Dahl back, and that's exciting too. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking at this one, and I prefer the Cardinals. I really do. I like the Cardinals and the Astros more than I like. I got to pay through the nose for the middle of the order for Colorado and for Philadelphia. I just think it's too much.
It is too much. And surprisingly,
the only way you can do that is if you're going to get Wainwright and another 7K pitcher. Like you have to go. I don't know, Chris. Like I'm trying to think of what's the other. I mean, Chacin's not in play tonight. I don't think there's too much other weather on some of these other guys. Eduardo Rodriguez, I don't know if that's enough of a discount. I mean, like Marco Gonzalez and Wainwright, you still can't plug in all these bats from the Phillies Colorado game. You can't do it. No,
it's too tough. And yesterday they went into Colorado and they got shut out, right? It was the contrarian play to roster Kyle Freeland. He racked up some strikeouts. He limited the damage. There were some runs, but not a lot. And from the Colorado side, yeah, you mentioned Dahl, McMahon come back. What do you? A couple home runs yesterday. It's tough to spend up on some of these bats. I agree with you. And you know what? Like, don't be surprised if Velasquez goes in there and has some success. I mean, the Rockies. I know that they've had a couple guys get back, and some of their averages will jump back up, but as a team, like overall, they've just struggled against righties. And even last year, like they were much better against lefties. And it's the way to attack them from a pitching standpoint was when there was a righty on the hill. And so far this season, I mean, a 272 WOBA is 26th in baseball. They're striking out more against righties than lefties. So, 26% of the time is 5th highest mark in baseball. So I don't know if you're getting nuts and you're getting Couturier. I'm really crazy to go Velasquez, but maybe just shy away from this altogether. I mean, Marquez has the ability to. Well,
there's a couple pieces I think you can dance around with. One of them is Scott Kingery, who's been red hot, hit 3.6 on the FanDuel side. And Real Muto is only 3.62 if you want to get involved in that, because he looked good the other day also. Yeah. Then you got Garrett Hampson at 3.1, Ian Desmond at 3.1, and Ryan McMahon at 3.1. So those are 3 guys, especially Ryan McMahon, who I believe had a 2 home run day yesterday.
Yeah, McMahon went yard twice yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a piece of this, it's got to be the bottom pieces because you can't fit it all in. It just does not work with the kind of pitchers that are on. You don't have that. Oh my God, we got to go after this 77.5 pitcher today. Like it's not there. Wainwright's that guy, but it doesn't translate on the 2 pitcher side. It's too difficult to do. So that's my take.
Yeah, I would rather stack Astros, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Marco Gonzalez, lefty versus the Angels, and Felix Pena. Now, we didn't listen last week hard enough to the Mike Minor thing. The LineStar app was telling us. So again, if you haven't downloaded the LineStar app, make sure you do so. Make sure you get it on your phone or whatever device you're using there, and make sure you're looking at the optimizer because it is spectacular. It's going to spout out to you all the guys you should be playing, the top values of the day in the optimizer at each position. It's so easy to understand. It's so much information that's given to you. It's not overwhelming. It's terrific. It had Mike Minor. Are we going down that route again? Because it loves Marco Gonzalez at 8.4, and I got to be honest, I think I do too.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, the negative here is like Marco Gonzalez doesn't strike out a lot of guys, and the Angels have the lowest strikeout rate in baseball, but they're also hitting 162 against lefties, which is the lowest. Last year, they had the lowest average and the lowest WOBA, and WOBA is key in fantasy for those who are just like, learning for DFS. I mean, we're with WOBA, we're talking about extra base hits here, which is beautiful in fantasy. You get the extra points. So even this year, 241 WOBA against lefties, it's dead last. So dead last average, dead last WOBA, really literally the only guys that can hit lefties in that lineup are Trout and Simmons. Simmons has been a great value all year long, and he's actually been pretty solid.
Yeah, hitting 3 tonight at 2.7K. Boy, there's a discount.
There is a discount. So,
that's on the FanDuel side, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good contact guy, gets on base. And actually heading into today, he has the most at-bats with guys on base. It's just because of Trout, because nobody else is getting on base. It's crazy to think about.
My Trout.
Double take there. Wait, what? But yeah, no. For Marco, even despite the fact that he's got an ERA over 3, which is fine, and a K per 9 just at 5, he's got 4 wins, right? Because he's getting the offensive support, some runs. So if there's an opportunity for him to go 6 or 7, limit the damage. He's already faced the Angels so far this season, and he's had success against them too. He went 8.1 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. Only 3 strikeouts. You're not going to get a lot of Ks from him, but there's an opportunity there to maybe just get yourself a W.
All right, let's move on here. Marcus Stroman against Aaron Brooks. For this one, look, right now, Toronto's hitting the ball. Grichuk, Smoke, and Teoscar Hernandez in the middle of that order. On FanDuel, 3.3, 3.7, and 2.9. Those are the 3 guys I just mentioned there in order. That middle of the order is pretty darn good, and Galvis ahead of them at 3.3 has been pretty good also lately.
Yes.
This is another one of those. This is the sneaky snack of the day. The sneaky snack. There it is, where you go in there and you could stack these guys and maybe make look at another secondary grouping there where if you can't afford this one, you can't afford this one, or you're playing multiple lineups and you want to just differentiate a little bit. I think there's some opportunity there against Aaron Brooks to do that. Marcus Stroman at 7.5. I mean, I guess he's in play. Maybe he's that other guy where you can make a case for him and potentially go that route with some of the Colorado and Philly game if you really want to dance there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cheap. You mentioned 7.5. I mean, absolutely. I can get behind that, and he's striking guys out. Like 9.13 K per 9 is by far. It's a small sample size, but it's by far the highest of his career. He's got a 10.7 swinging strike percentage. He's up that as well. He's a ground ball pitcher, 60% for his career. So it's a great park for him as well. Yeah, I think the Jays are. Their offense, and Stroman, I think, is maybe an underrated play.
And one more here, San Diego, Matt Strom, who's not been good this year, taking on the Reds and Anthony Desclafani in San Diego. Votto hitting leadoff. Well, listen to these prices on FanDuel for these guys. Votto 3.1, Suarez 3.3, Puig 2.8. I mean,
I don't get the 2.8.
I don't get the 2.8 either.
Starting to hit home runs lately too.
I know. Well, this is another one I'm pointing out too, where there might be a lot of chalk in that Colorado game. And certainly in my St. Louis one, I admit it's going to be there. But if you're looking for the secondary one besides Toronto, it's the Reds, I think, tonight too, because it's so damn cheap. There's your Verlander right there.
And a team that has had success over the past couple of years. I know they've added to their lineup, but against lefties, a top 10 WOBA against lefties. They don't strike out as much against lefties. Strom has struggled with some of his command. He has the potential to give up some home runs. So, yeah, I like that a lot. In fact, I don't understand the 3.7. I know it's in a spacious Petco Park, but 3.7 team applied total is too low to me. And you're right. You look over on the FanDuel side, you can get all those guys in there and spend up on some huge bats. Votto 3-1, Puig 2-8, Kemp 2-4. Wow. And Suarez is 3-3.
And Strom hasn't been good. I mean, the guy has not been good. I know the ballpark isn't gangbusters, but at the same time, it's like the way at least they're going to get this game in.
Right. That's the positive.
Take a look. Look, this is the warning. So to recap tonight, be careful about the weather in a lot of these games. The sneaky stacks are the Blue Jays and the Reds here because of cost. We talked about Marco Gonzalez, Adam Wainwright being some of those affordable pitchers we're really in on. Stroman you could put into that mix as well. They're all, I think, in play in tournaments, especially on the DraftKings side. Verlander is definitely the cash game pitcher of the night here. Barrios is the trap. Look, I think that's pretty much it. We're finally walking away from the Marlins after pounding them into submission this week. We're going to give them a break just for today.
Yeah. Just
for today. And also keep in mind, too, that Detroit's starting to heat up. Maybe Carlos Rodon is also another one of these traps as well. So it's time to call our shot. Chris Meaney, who's your shot call of the day for a dinger?
I was gonna go with Puig because Strom is such a fly ball pitcher, but you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns, and I know Carlos Correa has struggled. He's not a huge home run hitter. There's gonna be something happening in Houston today. I'm gonna go with Carlos Correa. I think he's a steal on the FanDuel side, and I think he's gonna take Drew Smyly deep, and it's gonna happen early.
I'm gonna take Marcell Ozuna, who's having himself big April, and I like that one. So there you go. So Ozuna is my called shot, and so that's pretty much it. So we'll be back tomorrow with the weekend show. Weekend show always comes out on Saturday. For folks who are looking and saying, hey, where were you yesterday? We're off on Thursdays, guys. Give us a break, all right? Thursday, Sunday, we're off, but outside of that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, the show is here for you, and Saturday, we do the weekend edition where we preview the whole weekend, which is great because you can listen to it in one shot and then, go ahead and still have a life, especially with the holiday weekend. It's very efficient to go out and do it that way. So you can follow us on the Twitter machine at Joe Pisapia 17 and, of course, at Chris Meaney. And make sure you're following at LineStar App and LineStar App MLB as well. And make sure you download that app and make sure you go over and upgrade to the premium product because it is bananas good, man. It is so
It's amazing. It really is.
It really is. So that'll do it for me and Chris Meaney. We'll be back again tomorrow. There's only one thing left to do, and that's step out of the on-deck circle, step into the box, and go a yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.